Hi, ladies and gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus. Again, I just returned from a walk. Nice and chilly outside, plenty snow. And the chill, the snow, and not that much movement, good place to be on a walk. As I was walking, I was thinking, and I was reminded in my thoughts that I always thought that things would be so different now than they are. I mean, yesterday the promise was so great. I remember telling my current wife that we were going to have just a fantastic, wonderful life. There was no doubt in my mind. I know that we, all of us, every human being on earth wants a wonderful life. And if we have the opportunity to have a wonderful life, even if it's interconnected, that would be nothing, that we would grasp it as easy as yes. And so I know my commitment. And so I'm moving forward, assuming that when adjustments are made and the message gets out that yes, we can do these things, that it would actually happen. And I'm thinking I got one of the biggest mouths around town. I can talk. I've been talking, ask anybody. I spit out videos like nothing. I can't stop talking. So I can talk. The problem has been that they haven't had the message. So I'm coming on the scene with the message, a message that I'm assuming that everybody's wanting, everybody wants, because it is an answer to a prayer. That I'm going to walk out there and this message is just going to spread across the country. And people getting a chance to reflect on the message, to think about the message, to chow down on the message, to recognize that the message is authentic and it blesses every last one of them whose concern is that their dreams could come true. That would be it. And so my wife and I could sail through this life. But I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, what I have found out is this, is that people have accepted teaching that prevents their dreams. You see, there is a way that allows everything to happen. There is a way for everything to happen. But just assuming that human beings want peace, prosperity, and freedom and joy in their lives, in reality, wanting their dreams to come true. Basically, their wants, their needs, and their desires. Every human being, I know I do. So I'm assuming that every human being on earth is likewise. I am assuming that every individual on earth wants to make sure that they have security and assurance that those things that are essential for their survival will never be interfered with. And that includes, but not limited to, food and clothing and shelter and education, to do the thing that education does. It makes you better at whatever it is that you might be lacking in being better at what you do. And health care. You need it from the womb to the tomb. No doubt. I'm thinking every individual would agree with that. And then when you think about all of the people, when you think about all of the what is required to meet these needs that just got articulated. Right now, the various areas of concern are being addressed. The lack that exists represents a problem that exists. And so we need to know how to fix that problem. And to fix that problem, we must understand what the original plan is. How would the original plan, based upon what we already understand, fix this? How would it work? How is it supposed to work? How is it going to work? And so the simple answer is this: all that benefit from, and that's all of us benefit from. Now, what do we benefit? All of this is met from what? From resources that came by whose hand? Came by a power that we can't see. Came by the same power that put us here. Came by a power that put it here for us. For all that would benefit from. And so since you would benefit from, what is the justest way to apply oneself? To engage yourself in the process of creating. The magnificent thing about this is that that power that designed you and made you to be here to do what you are to do, gave you a career objective that gives you your greatest joy when you're doing it. So you're not just here like working. You know, people, they say, enjoy what you're doing. That way you got no problems. I mean, every day you doing it, you being rewarded. And the nation is being rewarded because collectively you are creating all of the goods, all of the services that you have determined are essential. And by so doing that, you have taken the gifts that God gave you and gave the gifts that you have for one another to be the benefactor of all the beneficiaries. I mean, and you know what? You didn't have to lie. You didn't have to cheat. You didn't have to steal. You didn't have to kill. You didn't have to terrorize. You didn't have to hate. You didn't have to be a racist or a bigot. You didn't have to go into war. You didn't have to do any of these things. And you didn't need money, because all of that is a fruit from the seed of men who have designed systems that leave God out. All of that. And I need you to understand this, ladies and gentlemen. That system that I just described, that leave God out, everybody that's in that system is a participant in that system. It doesn't matter how good you think you are, or how good you believe and want others to believe that you are. As long as you are in that system, not resisting it, then you are a participant in it. And it's no such thing as God knows your heart. God knows, and God gonna oversee this. Let me tell you something. Do you think God loves you any more than he loves those Ukrainian kids that's being bombed, those ladies and old sick people that are being bombed by one of the Satan's number one agents, Putin, Russia? Do you think God cares more about you than them? And if he would allow that to continue, why, excuse me, would he know your heart and take you away? Come on, people. Start using your heart, something. Stop using your education. Anyway, what I'm saying to you is this. Here is the moment. You know, you always got people saying who's for God and who's not. Here is your moment. What's happening in Ukraine? That's the ultimate. I mean, that's when you get to the worst. That's when the man and man's rules stand up and say, everything be damned. I'm going to use the power that I got and I'm going to control it. I don't give a stink what the world thinks. That's Satan's voice. That's Satan's voice. And everybody that goes along with it, empowering Satan. And now when they have an aggressive state against the people like Ukraine, and all I know is that Ukraine is innocent. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But my understanding is that Ukraine is innocent. And it becomes a responsibility of every individual on the face of the earth that's led by the Spirit of God to stand up and resist the Satan that's doing this thing to Ukraine. That means come to Ukraine's rescue and implement whatever force you have to stop this demonic action. And when you stop it, Russia and Putin, from its evilness, it is a sign to the rest of the world that anybody that wants to aggressively impose themselves on a sovereign nation will run into the same situation. But not just there. Just as we can speak to the nations, we must also speak to ourselves. It is our duty, it is our responsibility to straighten up our situation. We can't punish our way out of this stuff. If an act occurs, it is a reason behind it. And any concerned person would be dealing with what caused it. Punishing and throwing some punishment isn't the answer. It just keep on going. Your prisons start overflowing, punishment for something that you, the people, have doing wrong and continuing to do it and don't want to deal with the solution. So, how will we maintain this peace and have our needs met? Everybody benefiting, engaging themselves in the process, and creating enough for everybody that there will not be a shortage for any of it. That's how the thing is supposed to work. And as I indicated, the lying and cheating and stuff is on the other side. And if you are not against that, I know everybody saying, well, I got to go through this, I got to eat, yes, I understand that. But there's a way for you to do it, the right way. You don't have to go along to get along. Stand up for the right way. Somebody said, let me give you an example. Most preachers go out and get a job. They say, we got to eat, got to do that. And then they come back on church on Sunday and tell somebody about God. They put their faith in the world system every day and come back on Sunday and tell you about putting your faith in God. Trick themselves to believe that the devil is not smart enough to let them apply themselves within the system, which is a manifestation of the reality that you don't really know God, but having you thinking you do. But you're not doing anything for God. You say, why not? Because your talking on Sunday isn't doing anything for the people that's suffering every day. It's not doing anything for the people who don't have health care, who don't have the food, who don't have houses. It's not your talking on Sunday that do anything for that. And buying your preacher a plane when he wants it, or putting him up in a mansion ain't doing nothing for the people that's suffering. So what is this going to church and stuff about? What is this book about? I know what it's doing. What is it doing? It's saying it's okay. You got a man came into this political process who decided to implement the same kind of lies and stuff that come from the pit of hell into this country. I mean, we already had it scattered everywhere, but we try to hide it. We try to pretend like we weren't so bad. But this joker came in and turned it loose. And all that ugliness started rising up. Oh, we've been hiding. Thank God for sending you over here. Now we can stand up and hate. Now we can stand up and be a racist. Now we can stand up and show our ugliness. Thank God for sending you to us. That's what they're saying in America now. When you spent your life saying it was evil to think such, let alone to do it. But rather, here I am telling my present wife that we're going to live a great life. And I even ran for president. Speaking about the things I just got through sharing with you, I'm thinking you're going to be so excited, you couldn't wait. Only, 30-some years later, find out that everything that you were taught to hate, all of those lies and stuff like that, you were buying into it like it was bubble gum or popcorn. I couldn't get enough of it. And now just giving it all your power. Believing in evil. Believing in hate. Golly. So I'm sitting up here thinking, okay, Eddie, so what do? I mean, you see nobody's thinking about peace. Nobody's thinking about that stuff. They're just talking. Well, I know this. The people that's going through this pain, in Ukraine. The world is watching it, and God sees it. And if you are for God, the evidence will be there. And if you're not, the evidence will be there. And I want to say one more thing to you before I close. Leave punishment to God. We the people, do the right thing. Show our love and compassion for one another. Resist evil. But when a woman says she wants to have an abortion for some kind of reason like that, if we want to engage ourselves in it, find out what is it that moves women to want to have an abortion. And once we discover what that is, then let us eliminate those kinds of reasons, those kinds of excuses. We can't put no restrictions on laws and punishing folks because they're, who the hell do we think we are? If somebody want to transgender themselves from one sex to another, who are we to tell them what they can do and cannot? We still got to treat them just like they the sweetest thing God ever sent. If we don't like what they're doing, find out if we can, what is it that motivates them, that moves them. We might find out there's nothing no more guilty of than we being men or women being women. It could be just what God has designed. But if it's not, then let God do the punishment. Because the moment we start trying to fix stuff up, then we start screwing up. And don't start trying to get even. Because once you start trying to get even, you find out you're just the biggest devil that you've been trying to get rid of. Come on, wake up. So when you're doing the right things, when things are happening for you, you don't have time to worry about all the other stuff because they don't exist. I'm only mentioning these things to you because they are happening right now and you think it's the right thing to do. And it's not. And so right now, for America, all of this little stuff y'all talking about doing in Congress, it's nothing but a waste of time. If you're not going to take the kind of action that makes no difference between a white man and a black man but their color, and everything else is just as fine as breathing in the air. If you're not doing that, what you doing up there? If you're not balancing this thing out, America, why are you supporting that? See, I tell you why. Because your God says it's okay. And who is your God? Your God is the God that man is working for. And it has nothing to do with the pain and suffering, except creating it so that those of you who support the system, who says it's okay to be crooked, can get a cut. It's a little cut. Some of you ain't got nothing, but you're still going with the system. I think I've said enough. I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. It is a beautiful day, and I hope that I have said something that might mean something to someone. Until next time, Eddie Marcus say goodbye.